Can I help you? Good morning. Would you like to go outside with me? Hey, Ja. What is that? You want to go outside too? Okay. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Well, it's Easter morning, and I'm gonna go for an Easter morning hike. See where the day takes me. I'm blaming this squirrel for breaking that bench seat. Running like a coward. I'm taking a parallel trail today than what I normally take. It's a little bit steeper. It's Sunday, I feel like pushing it a little bit more. See, I took this trail because you end up overlooking another trail as well as the Hollywood sign. And we're not too far, probably about 15-20 minutes away. All right, we made it, gang. Good job. From my door to the top of the observatory, which is right here, is 45 minutes. So probably take me from here to get home, honestly, probably 25-30 minutes. So whenever I do this hike, I put in over an hour. And I'm feeling it. I mean, like in a good way. I feel better every day. My clothes feel better every day. Been juicing my dinner meal, so things are feeling great. I know it's not Casey Neistat or anything. My God, the guy's family went out of town last weekend and he ran 21 miles for fun. Just went out and started running, and he usually cuts it off at about 7. He just kept going to 21, so I guess that's a goal. I guess he's setting the standards for YouTubers in every category. I need to go in here and get a few oddities. Then I'm going on a rant. Alright guys, so let's talk. Apparently last time I talked I got myself in trouble, but I'm going to do it again anyway. So my beef right now is actually with Dave Hughes. He wasn't trolling me, but he was misrepresenting me on his channel, which is in a lot of ways pretty much the same thing. What he decided to do was he decided, and he'll play this on his channel I'm sure, so hi everybody. What he decided to do was he showed part of my talk the other day on the Graham Parsons vlog, where I talked for 12 minutes, talked to you guys the way I would to my friends, which is how I run my channel, and told you all the things that I'm looking at buying. And I also mentioned that a guy that I work with had mentioned to me that he works for a company that hires YouTubers to be on a network. So what Dave decided to do was, instead of playing the whole conversation, he decided to play a snippet of it and only show to where it looks like I'm looking to join a network, or that I am. Not that a guy I worked with had been giving me tips on how to get more traffic to my channel, and that's what he did for a living, and that he said he had been watching my channel wanting to talk to his boss about it. That's where that conversation came from. I never said that I was joining a network. Second, he brought up the fact that I told you guys that I was going to buy a new laptop, a new camera, that I was flying to Sweden this summer, that I was getting new headshots, making me look like an e-beggar. What he failed to mention was that I said in there, days before that vlog, and in that vlog specifically, that I had gotten tired with all the things in my apartment, and that I was looking to get rid of some stuff anyway, and that's how I was going to pay for everything, and that I was going to be selling that stuff, and that I already have. And also that I was selling my camera, which was also helping to pay for it. I also said in there I already had the headshot money. So, Dave, take a step away from YouTube. Not everybody that is out there talking to their fan base is out there trying to drum up money, dude. I have hung out with 3 or 4 of my friends in the last week, and those are the same exact topics that I've brought up to them, and the reason that I do it is because when I mentioned it on my vlog, that very next morning when I woke up, I had a comment from somebody saying, if you're looking to buy a good, cheap laptop that's refurbished, go to this website, you can get a good deal. That's why I talk about that stuff. I talk about it because people can make suggestions and offer advices of places to find stuff, or just things like that. I don't think anybody that watches my channel thought that I was asking for money, and I wasn't asking for money. In fact, when I got ripped off of my headshots, there were people on my Facebook group that were talking about wanting to donate money to help pay for the headshots. And I was the one that came and said, no, I don't need you to donate money to pay for my headshots. If you want to donate money for the vlog and for trips and things that will help the vlog, that's different. But just because I'm in a hard position, like, that is not your job as fans of my show. I do this show because I get an email every day from somebody saying, you take me places that I can't go myself for whatever reason, whether it's health reasons, travel reasons, whatever. But to go on your channel with where you say you have 1,000 people watching every video and then misrepresent that I'm joining the clique of people that are out there trying to bilk their fans for money. All right, I'm back. I think he and I are going to go hang out with Kevin at some point today. I might do my vlogging over there. There's something I've wanted to see for a while over in that direction, and I think that's probably what I'll go see today. You guys will love it. If I'm wrong, if I did come off like I'm, you know, it wasn't said that I was e-begging, but it was implied. If I came off that way, I didn't intend to. But I am not going to apologize for telling you guys that I'm looking at trying to buy new equipment, because you know what? I'm not the best YouTuber in the world by any stretch of the imagination. I do not have the best channel in the world. But I do think that what I'm trying to do and what my channel is all about is extremely important. And I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to preserve the history that I'm doing every day in the best possible way for everyone else to see. I'm not going to apologize for wanting to go out and get a better camera or to start maybe editing it on a $200 computer or something like that. I'm not going to apologize for wanting to make this show better, because as you can see from every single day places that I go, every single day they're changed, every single day they're gone, and some of them haven't been changed at all. And I'm trying to go out and I'm trying to see them as accurately as possible, and I'm trying to bring them to you guys as close to cinematic quality as I can. And sometimes this camera just isn't good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and make some lunch before I head out. I bought some eggs, and I know this ham isn't the greatest because it usually has sodium and stuff, but it's low in calorie, and I'm kind of just trying to do low calorie mainly. So I'm gonna just make like a kind of an omelet or scramble or something like that with no cheese. Well, it's all done. It actually looks pretty good, but I can't help but feel the irony of the plate. I mean, that's pretty much the plate I always use, but just seems kind of strange to use it today. We stopped in the other grocery store and bought some juice. I just don't have time to walk up to the other place right now. I think I'm gonna go, instead of doing the one over by Kevin's house, there's one that I can only do on the weekend, so I think I'm gonna go do that one now. Not even on a Sunday can you escape traffic. All right, gang, we made it. Right here, right off the exit to the freeway, we're gonna go see this place. This house was built in 1897, and it's a stone house. It's called the Lumis house. Let's go check it out. Now, I'm sure you can tell right here by this corner that there is quite a bit of historic stuff to see over here in this neighborhood. This is called Highland Park, and this is where we're going today. Lumis house, Ellis Isle, State Historical Monument. And at one point, it was the headquarters of the Historical Society of Southern California. You can, if you notice, that has been painted over in brown because it is no longer the home of that. But it's pretty interesting they kept the original sign. Now, I assume you guys already know this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Well, part of it you'll know and part of it you won't know. The part that you do know is that you'll probably notice I don't do a whole lot of shots where I put my camera on a tripod and I come walking into the shot or anything like that. And the reason I do it the way that I do is, like, I really like my vlog to have this perception that we're hanging out and that you're seeing everything through my eyes. So I try and keep myself out of the vlog as much as possible. And why I do that is because there's a movie that came out a few years ago that the whole thing was like this, and it wasn't Birdman, even though Birdman did this. It was a foreign movie called Enter the Void, and the whole movie basically takes place or it's like one long camera shot that kind of leads you to believe that you're like the soul of the main character, like the eyes of their soul. And so what I do is I try and always shoot from the perspective of how my eyes are seeing things. Just thought I would share that with you guys. Now, like I told you, the reason we had to come out here today is because they're only open on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 3. And I had read about this place and I just thought, wow, what a cool like history, what a cool story, and something I'd want to see. But here's a map of the grounds. Now what this is basically like Charles Loomis bought this property. It's 3 acres, and he bought this property in the late 1800s, like I said, 1895 or 97 they said, and it took 11 years for him to complete construction on this. And at one point it was kind of used as a banquet hall and whatnot, but there's a guest house here, and he had some pretty famous guests. They say that John Philip Sousa was one of his guests, John Muir, and Will Rogers. But this is a stone house. There's like a banquet hall inside that's a concrete floor, and they said the reason that he did that was because he wanted to have it so that whenever the banquets were over with, they could just throw a bucket of water on the floor and it would clean it. Look how beautiful that is. Pretty interesting, pretty rustic. I believe now it is a museum, so let's go see if we can take a look inside. Author, editor, historian, poet, librarian. Erected this building largely with his own hands, wrote 10 books on our Southwest and California history, founded the Southwest Museum, which is pretty close to here, and I will go vlog that at some point. And it's funny that it mentions Western history, because I was actually thinking about that today when I was thinking about the other day when I was at Paramount, and how when I showed you guys the blue room, or that blue screen where the pool and everything was, look at the glass, that's so cool. That blue screen and the water pond and everything, that used to be the Western set, and they tore that down to make a parking lot. Here's a picture of Mr. Loomis with the one and only Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider. How cool is that? 1911. Would have been cooler if that picture were taken here. But wow, yeah, look at those window pane. Wow, that's so cool. I had driven by this place many times and never looked over. If you didn't know it was here, you can kind of miss it. Wow. God, you just gotta love old history, don't you? These are all old family photos. There he is, right there. Cool hat. Looks like a Gorn Brothers hat. Look, Spanish Songs of California. Look who collected and translated by Chaz Loomis. There's some old family photos. Oh, this is amazing. So cool. Love this type of history. That picture signed 1917, and it's interesting because you don't see that kind of handwriting anymore. I've seen signed pictures from Valentino, and that's the way he wrote almost exactly. I kind of miss people having great penmanship. Some of his visitors: John Burroughs, Douglas Fairbanks. Let's check out a few of these. Beautiful. So the curator here was just telling me that what this map actually is where those lines are. The way that he arrived in Los Angeles, he was the first editor of the LA Times. He was a writer in Chillicothe, Ohio, and he actually started in Ohio as a publicity stunt, walking from Ohio all the way out here, and he was writing articles all along the way and sending them ahead, and they were being published, so that once he arrived in Los Angeles, he was already kind of well known. And one of the things that was pretty cool is that they have a copy of his guest book in here. And apparently he was a real stickler for details and kind of a hoarder, pack rat. He kept documents of everything, all the way down to like how much the lumber cost to build this place. He kept every detail, like diaries of his entire life. And in here, somebody has went through and meticulously annotated every place where there's a notable person who had visited here. And since he was a editor for the Times and such, that's how he would have people like John Burroughs here all the time, Douglas Fairbanks, and it's pretty interesting. Like the guy that is the curator here, one of the things he was saying was that he said this place actually has the opposite problem that most museums have, which are they don't have enough history to kind of piece together everything. But here he kept such documentation of everything that you actually know everything about him. Probably, like as he said, probably too much. Every risque detail and everything about it. Look, that goes outside. And we'll go out there and walk around in just a second. Look at the detail on the wood. And you know what's cool about it is that you can tell it's hand done because no two line up exactly. Like how the candles are inset. And just so you know, they are totally cool with photography here, so. And, ooh, Jack London. And in fact, they said that there's if you go on YouTube, there's a pretty good documentary on Charles Loomis that KCET put together. Look at that handmade chair. Alice Gentle. Yeah, he built this by hand. Can you believe that? I don't know if I told you guys that. He built this whole place by hand himself. That's why it took so long. And you know, that seems to be a reoccurring theme in all these brilliant people that we keep doing vlogs about. Simon Rodia, Randy Land, the Robo Light Walk. All these guys say the same thing. They're like, they have been the only one that has worked on whatever art it is that they're working on. They do everything themselves. Okay, let's see where we can go now. We're gonna check out the bedroom here.
So the center panel of this door here came from the ceiling of the smokehouse that once stood at the San Fernando Mission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Lumis founded a group called the California Landmarks Club, which was instrumental in raising money for the restoration of the California missions. So watch your step and your head as we go through here. So the neat thing, this was a guest bedroom. The neat thing in this room is this cement frieze above the fireplace, which depicts a Navajo fire dance.
Yeah.
This was done by an artist named Charles Walter Stenson.
Wow.
And the little clay heads in the mantle are from Teotihuacan in Mexico.
Oh, I thought I read somewhere where he built everything by hand, or built the whole place by himself. Did that not happen, or?
That's mostly true.
Okay.
You know, of course, that's been the lore for many, many years. Obviously, you know, no one human being can do everything. He had, of course, that helped. The first couple of years of the construction of this house, he had 2 caretakers here.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Of the house. What we really mean, or what we mean, that's been the shorthand way for many years of saying that Lumis was not a wealthy man. He was a writer, editor, you know, a freelancer, you know. And so he didn't have the money he didn't have money to have crews, here working on the house. So it was he, 2 caretakers for the first couple of years. Then eventually it was only 1. Friends, family, whoever he could harangue into helping him. There's stories of people coming over. He was already entertaining people, and there's stories of people coming for dinner and then showing up, and it's like, oh, here,
Putting him to work?
Putting him to work, yeah.
Oh, classic.
Before we go to, yeah. So, but what we know, and then also it's been a shorthand way of saying the detail work, the woodwork, was done by hand by Lumis on purpose to, because that's what Lumis wanted. He wanted the pleasure of being able to do it. I think in the camera you're probably capturing this very intricate pyrograph design on the door.
Yeah.
It might be better if I shine my light on it. Let me see if I can do that.
Oh wow! If you look close, even in the wood, I didn't see that. You couldn't tell without that light.
It goes almost all the way down to the bottom of the door.
Oh wow! Yeah.
This pyrograph design was done by Maynard Dixon, very famous Western artist and a frequent visitor here, friend of Lumis.
Wow.
And the doorknob is a meteorite on this door.
Wow.
To your left, you'll see the stairs, very steep. And then through here, watch your step and your head, is the master bedroom.
Oh.
This bench and the bench over here are also pieces from the second level that we brought down so people can see.
Oh, okay.
Because we can't take people.
It looks like there's a ladder that pulls out, right?
Oh, yeah, that piece at the end, it was attached to a bookshelf.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like, what is that?
Yeah, because it's not in its original location. But this bench right here is a firebox, and it also has a pyrograph design on the side panel, on the outside and the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Which was also done by Maynard Dixon, the same artist.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's like a California bear. All right, let's go outside. There's some pretty interesting stuff to tell you about. First off, these are the 2. Originally, these were his elder children's houses, when they lived on the property, and then they became the guest houses that I was telling you about, where John Philip Sousa, Douglas Fairbanks, all of those people would have stayed. But there's a few plaques, and I wanted to show them to you. 1897, yeah, there you go. 13 years. And then right here is his little historical monument plaque. And then this is the interesting thing. Other than this mural, which is just great that it's lasted this long, is that down here there's another plaque. And what this plaque is this is his epitaph that he wrote himself. Charles Fletcher Loomis, March 1st, 1859 to November 25th, 1928, he founded the Southwest Museum. He built this house. He saved 4 old missions. He studied and recorded Spanish America. He tried to do his share. Now, what's interesting is that what the guy that works here was telling me is that Loomis wanted a Native American kind of burial. And so what he did when he died is he had them cremate him right here in a Native American fashion, and then his ashes were collected, and they were actually interned right there behind that plaque. So this is actually his final resting spot, is right behind here. Now let's go take a look inside the windows. They don't keep these buildings open, but he said I'm free to peek in through the windows and you can pretty much see everything. Here's the back of the house. Kind of an exotic garden that goes around the property, and we'll go check out all the sides of this because it's just kind of magnificent. There's almost too much stuff to see, or it's hard to get a really great view of it, but let's try. This is the side of the house where we just came in. And then I'm not exactly sure what this is. Looks like public bathrooms, but looks like a bunch of hippies got a hold of it. I'm all for that. Now, let's go back before I forget, and let's check out the guest houses. And this is kind of the side that we saw when I first showed you guys over the fence. Imagine John Philip Sousa staying in there. John Burroughs. And then this looks like just an old blown out wheelbarrow. Clearly a stage of some sort for entertaining guests, I would guess, wouldn't you? And here you can actually see the back of the house and the second floor and everything. Now let's see if they have it locked, but we can at least see inside. Sort of. Maybe it's better over here. That old door. The old type key lock. Focus. Focus, I say. There you go. I saw a little stone over here with something on it, so I was just coming to see what it says. Herb garden in loving memory of Alan Roger Crown. A bookman fine and rare. Take one last look at the front before we take off. Now that we've seen the whole inside, it's kind of cool to kind of see it from this perspective again. See?
So Lumis, before building this house, lived in a place called Santa Pueblo, New Mexico, and he lived there for a number of years, and that was a huge inspiration, the architecture here. But Lumis was a very big and serious advocate for Native Americans, and one of the things he did was he had friends, he made friends in Isleta, and this was during the era of the Albuquerque boarding schools, where they were taking children, people were sending their children to these boarding schools,
right?
That they were going to be, well educated. They were very happy about it, but unbeknownst to them, the students were going to be kept from them so that they couldn't speak their own language. And
yeah, basically gentrified.
They were assimilation factories,
yeah.
And that was on purpose. That was the federal government policy. The head of the, I believe the Indian Bureau at this time, a very famous quote, which was that they needed to kill the Indian to save the man. That's what they thought.
I see.
Was the best.
Right.
And so, but this is obviously horrible. And Lumis personally sued the federal government to have the son of his friend released from this boarding school. And eventually, it didn't go to court. They settled out of court and they returned the child. But that kind of got the ball rolling. The precedent started for ending that practice, although it took many, many years. It went on for much longer after that. But there's a gentleman, and his name, as I said, is Bert Atkinson, and he's working on a documentary about that specific story.
Interesting.
And it's called Los Cautivos.
Okay.
And the preview for that is on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have everybody check it out.
Yeah.
Wow, how awesome was that place? So cool, the kind of things that you run into in Los Angeles. Like, every single day, I'm able to break up the monotony of what I go see by seeing something completely different. Guys, you know, like, I also wanted to say that, like, I'm not mad at Dave Hughes. He has every right to say whatever he wants on his channel, what he thinks will happen, what his opinion is. He has every right to do that. But I also have every right to say that not the whole context of what I said in my video was represented. So that's where I was coming from. You know, I don't have any hatred towards him. I just am a man of conviction, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea and think that what was said on there is what I'm trying to do. That's a little bit of the Leo in me is insulted by it, so I just wanted to set the record straight. I thought, since I was telling you about my dad yesterday and today's Easter and all, I would show you. This is kind of like one of my prized possession things. This is something that he gave to me that he made when he was in a hospital in Washington, D.C., being treated the first time when it was for quite an extended stay. And they would have like arts and crafts times and those things. And he made this. It's kind of like a little thing for money. You can attach it. And I've had it since, I want to say like 1989. I think I got it. Maybe 1990, I forget. I think he gave it to me before he passed away. I think that's how I got it. But yeah, it's just one of those things I always keep. I was just thinking this might be the first Easter of my life that I didn't have a Cadbury egg. This whole season. Not one Cadbury egg. I almost am losing myself, I think. Alright, I gotta grab a few groceries. Get some cereal. I want to get some of this fake veggie sausage. Got some yogurt. Well, they were all out of Cadbury eggs, so I got myself a mini little peanut butter bunny. Whatever. Have a great night.